I see five barriers to enterprise adoption of AI. You've got security, you've got data, you've got integration, the last two, both of which you mentioned there, as well as organizational structure and culture. So I think when we talk about the data, it's how do you get access to it? Can you get access to it, which is usually in a whole bunch of disparate areas all around your company? And then once you get it, how do you scrub it? How do you make sure that what you're ingesting is of quality?
Yeah, and I would just to add to what Barton mentioned, particularly the access, right? One of the things that is something that people really want to get the value out of AI is making sense of the data they have, and the access is critical for that. If you're not able to tap into your existing data silos, for example, I think having an AI aware solution across your various vendors is something that unlocks that.
And I think one of the elements that I think we'll see turn up through this is storage versus data. And as Barton was talking about having this disparate locations for all of the data that you're going to be feeding into your AI application, I think there's some elements of having that lower level of infrastructure of making sure that the data that you need can be brought into wherever you're running your AI application or the multiple places you might be using your AI application. But I think there's a much bigger challenge sitting on top of that. As companies proceed, they will see much more that it's not simply a storage conversation, but very much a data conversation, that cleanliness of data, but also the governance for that data, both security, but also the simple governance, who's allowed to actually see what, rather than the unintended disclosure kind of aspects of security. And so I think just generally, I mean, we know that data is the new oil that makes all of your AI run, makes all of your applications run. We're seeing, I think, a big shift in the storage to support that. One of the characteristics we see with AI inference is just the unremitting workload, the non-stop, highly transactional, high throughput workload that AI is. You know, historically we thought of enterprise applications and database applications as being a challenging workload for that mix of IO types. And then we saw storage arrays getting really challenged by VDI workloads a few years ago. I think what we're seeing now is that the storage workload for AI requires a whole set of technologies and a way of approaching delivering subsets of data at speed in the right location that we haven't previously necessarily needed with the same urgency. One of the challenges I see also is that people are not necessarily running their AI applications in the places that they're running their enterprise applications, that getting the data that's maybe in your application that's running on your public-facing website that might be on one cloud, getting subsets of that data to wherever you're running your AI application that might be on a neo cloud. I think there's some real challenges around the movement of data and timely movement of data between locations